The following is a KB9 OHY special presentation with the Orange County Amateur Radio Club.
To cover tonight, and hopefully we'll get through quite a bit of it here. I'm going to start off with a few things here, and then
hey Matt,
we'll get. Yes, sir.
That guy in the middle in that blue shirt is the most handsome guy I've ever seen on the planet. That's my wife. She just drools over him all the time.
Well, I'm not going to get in the middle of that one.
Yeah, now wait a minute, Matt. I know his wife, and she wears real thick glasses. He's real praying.
Thank you, pledge. He's gonna lead, this guy's gonna
Pray and say the pledge.
Yes.
He's gonna lead it, I think.
All right. Paul, would you mind doing honors tonight?
Sure. Father, we thank you for the opportunity of being here again this month. And we just pray that you would be with us in the meeting, whatever's discussed. And may we learn something, profit us, be fun, whatever. May you just be pleased in our lives. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right, and the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll run around the horn real quick and do our introductions. And so I'll start off. I'm Matt Wolf, KB9HUO, and I am from the Orleans area.
Pete, KA1 Good Hot Fudge from Mitchell. Your turn.
I'll go to Patrick first.
Oh.
Patrick Cassidy, N9PRY. I'm the vice president. I live out by Orangeville. And I'm Jason Archer, KD9VZU. I'm club treasurer, West Baden Springs.
Paul Hornberger, N9JFH. I'm from Orleans.
Steve Cody, KB9FZQ from Orleans.
Steve Wilson, K9SLW, right there in beautiful Orleans, Indiana.
Mike Wright, KF9NP from Buda, Indiana.
Kevin Walters, KA9ELN, West Bay.
Dave, yep.
Dave Hottle, Alpha Bravo 9 Charlie Alpha, Salem.
Ike Schoenfeld, Whiskey Niner India Kilo Echo, Bex Mill.
Stephen Jones, KB9 Victor Alpha, Paoli Indiana.
Calvin Mitchum, KE8ICE Equity.
Josh Berry, KD9, JZN, Dipoles.
Rick Ockett, K9RBH, North Ethel.
Don K8DO, Coast Carefree.
Dave
Palace, KA1TXO.
All right, guys. Well, welcome everybody. I'm going to whiz through the field day stuff real quick, what we've got, and just kind of recap what happened a couple weekends ago, and just go over it. But I want to start off. I want to say thank you to everybody. Just in general, I mean, this has been the third year now that we've had field day, and every year we just kind of just keep building off the previous year, and we've had 3 really good field days in a row, and you know, as is part of the field day experience, you have your ups and downs, and you know, the first year wasn't probably the best location height wise, but you know, we had a good time and got out there and made some contacts. Last year, great location, great, you know, setup. We had a couple of gremlins pop up. That happens. And then this year we really focused on the gremlins. We were kind of watching over here for the gremlins, and my fear was we were going to have a freight train coming from this direction, and we were going to miss it. So I want to say thanks to everybody for getting, you know, for the last 3 years going through things and helping out. You know, not everybody wants to get on the radio and operate on field day. Those of you guys that came out and helped us set up, or you just sit down and had a good conversation with the guys there, appreciate all of you. You know, 2 years ago, we had Rick, Emmerich, and I know Pete and Rick and some other guys set us up there at the JC Park. And then last year, Rick really did the bulk of the work as far as getting things set up at the airport in Paoli and did a great job with that. And then this year, we had Dave and Ike and Jason and myself, for what little I added. We went, you know, went through and just kind of...
Patrick.
And Patrick, yeah, sorry. You know, we kind of went through the problems we had the year before and wanted to see what we could do to improve on that. So that being said, we had a really, you know, last 3 years we've had successful field days, and it's been a group effort. It's not just been a handful of people. I mean, everybody in this group chips in and does a great job, and I just really appreciate what everybody brings to the group. So I just want to say thanks for that. So here, we've already seen this picture once already, and the lady from Orleans really likes the guy in the blue, if you didn't hear that. So all right, so I'm just going to go through a few photos here of how we had it set up. So if you wasn't aware, we were at the airport in Paoli, just north of here, in the main hangar that's right off the side of the main building. And so this is the late night crew. We had Ike, Jason, and then myself over here, kind of running things over the night shift. Then a few more pictures here. Patrick, Jason, and Ike there. And this is the important one, our safety officer with the safety badge. Apparently showing it off to throwing his weight around with Ike there. So, and then the Dipoles set up there on the picture. On the bottom, you've got Nate and K9 EDO and his wife that was out there helping, and appreciated seeing them. And we had Jason and our field day shirt crew. Everybody that had a field day shirt had to get in and get a picture, so we got the three of us in there, and then our little visitor down on the coax there.
That was my 3 a.m. visitor.
That 3 a.m. Yeah, Jason's 3 a.m. visitor. We got Ike and Nate there setting up the DX Commander. Dave hammering out some CW there on the top right, and then Bill and Ike there talking it out before we got started that morning. So. We were featured in a couple of places. Jason did a great job through the day. He was taking pictures, grabbing some video, doing some different things and putting them online. He sent what, three different sets of he sent 3 different sets of photos to the ARRL, and those got featured. The Hoosier Hills Ham Club sent some in too. So I know there was a post where us and them were all featured in the same post from the ARRL. And then this was on the following Monday after field day, and this was the World Radio League YouTube channel. Jason had made a post in there about us using their software, and they gave us a mention during their Monday live stream. So got a little bit of shout out there from both the ARRL and World Radio League. So, being said, World Radio League, we used that this year as our logging software primarily because setting up a LAN with Windows-based computers is a pain in the butt and it never wants to cooperate. And I'm being very, very nice in the way I say that. So, but the nice thing about World Radio League is it does a couple of different things. And of course, we all understand field day is not a contest. But if it was a contest, there was 1,847 users on field day for World Radio League, and KB90HY was at 32nd place. That's with an asterisk on it, okay? There's a little bit more to the story. We would have been higher, but as for what was logged on field day between on the software between the start and the finish, we were, what were the lowest? Were we under 10th place at one point? I was gonna say, we were like
Oh, yeah.
6th or 7th place.
We were 7th for
We
a
were
while, we were
cranking out-
17th for a while.
Yeah, we were cranking out, but then the rain moved in and we had to shut things down for a while, and so, you know, that kind of drug it out. But I mean, I'm thrilled to death that, you know, we were even in the running there, but there's more to the story on that. Like I said, there's an asterisk to that. So, there's the map of our QSOs. The longest one we made was here to Japan. I think Ike, you had that one, didn't you? That's what, yep. So Ike had that one. I know I had one to Germany. There's 2 there for Germany. Now, if you notice, there's a lot of red there, okay? A lot of red, you know, those red markers signify CW contacts. And so there's a lot of red. Let's just say that, and we'll add to that in just a second. So here's a little bit of a zoomed in map of the QSOs we made, and each of those I forgot to put the key down here at the bottom, but the red markers there are CW. The circles are circle icons are voice, and then the squares, I believe, or the diamonds, one of the two, is data. So data modes, whether it be PSK, FT8, FT4, or RIDI. So just to give it a little bit of a breakdown on that, but a lot of contacts being made. So here's where we get into it. So here's how the breakdown went by call sign. So Patrick knocked it out of the park with 92 QSOs. Jason with 85. I had 81. Ike had 42. Sorry, you're in here twice. And then Bill had 13 CW QSOs in there. So had a good round of people that got in on it. But somebody tried to kick all of our butts. And that would be Mr. Dave, AB9CA, with 302 CW QSOs. So, good job, Dave. Dave said, so you were on 40, right? Yeah, so he sat on 40 most of the day and just right through the day and just knocked them out one after the other. And then he decided to go to bed. So when
He would just slack. He would get 50 every half hour and then just take a break.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Every hour.
Yeah, 50 every hour. So then after Dave decided to call it a night, then Jason kicked in on 40 and ended up, most of that 85 happened on 40
Overnight.
sideband overnight. So, total contacts by unique call was 543. So 543 unique stations that we contacted out of the 600 and some total. Dave almost got all of us but once you add up everything, add us together, he almost lapped us. So we appreciate the effort on that, because those CW contacts count for 2 points apiece. So that's good. Ike was really holding down the digital there on RIDI, and do you remember how many RIDI contacts you made?
About half a dozen or so. I also did that Japan PSK, which was out of the blue.
Yeah.
I mean, it was total surprise. Like, yeah.
Yeah. It was a good day. We had a lot of fun. Back up.
By the way.
One of the things that we did, I talked about, we had some interference stuff last year that we just needed to figure out how to overcome. Well, Dave and Ike and the guys really went to look around and try to figure out what we could do. Pete gave us the idea of stubs to help null out some of the interference we were getting between the stations. So Jason built this, and I'll pass this around. This is one that uses a switch. I found the plans for this on an ARRL, old ARRL article from 90-something.
It was old.
95 or 98 that I found online. So he built this one, but Dave went out and he made stubs for every station to help null out some of that. So we'll pass that around and let you see what we have there. But Jason brought the 40 meter and the 20 meter antennas, dipoles that he built for field day that we used. And then Ike used his DX Commander on the digital stations. So good all around effort on that. But those stubs really did the trick. It's amazing how something so simple can end up really just, taking care of a problem that we were having issues with last year. But it's not one of those things that we can get around. Yeah.
So I never get to ask you guys over field day.
Yeah.
But I mean, Patrick and Jason and you, did you guys experience any interference?
No.
I didn't get it
None.
all.
None at all?
None.
None.
Okay.
No.
And now, Ike, you said you're.
The only thing I saw was that a couple of times when the people were talking on other bands, on my 7300, the OVF would flash a few times, but it never was a problem, and I never heard.
Okay, you never actually heard any.
No, I never heard any interference, but my 7300 did flash, the
Yeah,
over.
yeah, we talked about that, but I hadn't got to ask you other guys if you actually heard any interference. Okay.
Nope. I figured if we would have heard it, it would have been when you were on, you or Bill were running CW, or Ike with the
The most
digital.
likely interferer was me on CW. Yeah, that would have been the most likely
Yeah.
cause of interference, so that's what I
Yeah,
was.
there wasn't any, I never heard anything, I never heard a key up, never heard of anything, so. No, it was solid, and we appreciate you getting us lined out on that. That was good. We separated the antennas this year, a little more than we did last year. Not just more of an overabundance of caution, I think, more than anything else. We had plenty of room to put the two out, but we decided to put one behind the building and one over at the side where we had them last year, and just taking extra steps to see what it would do. So it all worked out. We had a good.
We also had dedicated stations, which I think helped.
Yes, yeah. We set up dedicated stations, so there was a 20-meter station, a 40-meter, and a 15 and 80-meter, and so that helped too. Instead of switching the radios onto a different frequency, we just got to move to a different station. So that helped a ton as well. So a little bit into the details. 627 QSOs total. We operated 21 hours and 20 minutes with an overall QSO rate of 29.4 QSOs an hour, with our fastest QSO rate at 68 QSOs an hour. That does include the CW QSOs. Longest contact, like I mentioned, was Japan with Ike. And then it shows you the top bands. 40 obviously was the big one there, and followed by 2015 and 80. So
Did we even try 10?
we didn't even try 10. I don't think we even tried it. No, we should have, because I heard it was open. So which is probably all California usually,
Right,
from here.
California and South America.
Yeah, that's it. So we don't have obviously the official scoring yet from this year. But this is a screenshot from the last 2 years, 2024 and 2025, as far as what was in QST. So we'll see how all the final score comes out when they do their magic on that end. Everything's been submitted, all the forms, all the extra forms, the WinLink contacts, all the bonus stuff that we need to turn in. So all that's done. So
we more than doubled our contacts.
I believe so.
Because I think that's what that is, at 257
Is
and
it- is that-
231.
is that-
I think that's our contacts.
Yeah, that may be.
I'm not sure what the 29. I'm not-
Yeah.
Was it number of sections?
Multiplier, the 9 and 19, or the number of participants?
We have more than 19 sections.
Okay. Yeah, because I think that would be right on the participants. 'Cause
Oh,
I
how many
think
sections we got?
Pardon?
How many sections we got?
No, it's the number of QSOs, the power multiplier, and the number of participants.
Participants,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
The number of people that were
Gotcha.
there.
that checks out. That checks out. Yeah, from 20. So you can kind of see from there 9 to 19. I think I submitted
I think
13.
you said 13.
Yeah, I think 13 is what I turned in to the ARRL based on the count that I had. Next year, I got to remember to do a sign-in sheet. So one thing, I've missed that 2 years in a row, and I keep telling myself not to forget it. I do forget it every year. So we did have 2 guys that showed up from Davies County over in Washington. They made the trip over and stopped at Martin County. I think they were in Lagodi. with their field day site, then they went to the Hoosier Hills site, and then came down to see us, and they were gonna go further south, but because of all the flooding, they were not gonna be able to circle back, like they wanted to go back into, back to Washington, so, they ended up heading north and going back at, I suggested maybe Bloomington, because I knew they were probably out somewhere, but I wasn't sure where they were at, but, at least they could circle back that direction and go back towards Washington after they were done, but, so it was good to see them and meet them, and I think that's it. As far as field day goes, is there any questions or anything? Yes, sir.
I would just like to say that I think the club owes a really big thank you to Jason.
Yes.
I'm specifically thinking of his tenacity in tracking down that missing steak at the end. If the airport's mower had found that steak,
Yeah.
that would not have been good.
Yeah, that's,
Let's not forget the brownies.
the brownies, yeah.
The brownies need mentioned.
Yeah, so Jason,
Yes.
yeah, well, I do need to mention, I've mentioned it a couple of times on different things, but I'll mention it now. So Jason decided that it was gonna be his day to be the grill master at field day in a monsoon. And, and so.
Picture of that? I thought we had a picture of that. No, we didn't? Oh.
No, I got a picture of the food, but I didn't get a picture of him out there getting.
He's literally out there standing.
Yeah, he was literally in the
rain.
Yep.
Doing the grill.
We're doing the grill, yeah, but we had, I tell you what, if you missed out on the food. I mean, we definitely had some good food that night. And those brownies, I don't know, how many pounds of sugar was in it? It was enough, because I tell
He
you
stayed
what.
up the whole time.
They're good.
He
Yes.
cooked, he helped set up, he cooked,
Yep,
and then, like, I got there and helped set up, operate a little bit, and then I went and laid down and went to sleep for 4 or 5 hours, and then got up about midnight,
yep,
and he was still up, and he was operating, and then I was operating, and I was doing FT8, so it didn't require a lot of concentration, and I would look over, and you were asleep. You would be
Halfway.
asleep, and then you jerk back up, and you get back on the radio, and then a few minutes later, I'd look back over.
Something would catch my ear,
And you'd be-
because I had
you'd
my
be-
I had my earbuds in for the radio, so something, you know, and I was like, okay, there's someone talking.
He stuck with it.
yep, he was devoted. I appreciate it, though.
And
It
then
was-
stayed while we took everything down. And
Yep, yep. But
It was
like
a
I
group-
said.
it was a group effort.
It was definitely, yeah, everybody chipped in, everybody did a great job, and that, you know, that doesn't even involve field day, that includes, you know, the repeater projects we've had, you know, everything that we've had over the last 3 years has just been, it's been a huge group effort, and I can't say thank you enough to everybody that you know, has helped out. Even if you haven't got on the air, if you just came out and hung out with us, that's great. We enjoyed seeing you. So with that, I'll shut up on field day unless there's any other questions. We have, yes, sir.
I was just thinking, next year, how about if we set a predetermined time for all the clubs in the area to get on 2-meter simplex? We get a bunch more points,
Yes.
and
Free points at that. That station's free. We did have it set up because, well, we did until I dumped it on the hangar floor. I leaned up against the table that had Jason's 2-meter set up in it, and the legs were not locked, and it tumbled right over. But luckily, it was
It was
good.
fine.
Good
we just
equipment.
need a prearranged time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we did, I think we did make contact. I have to go back and look at the log now. I know we got W9Q on Q, so I'm pretty sure I was the one that got that.
I worked in two.
Did you? Okay, I was gonna say, I knew we worked them. I don't remember, I know the Tri-County group down in Crawford County got rained out because of the flooding. And then,
Jasper County.
Patoka Valley, I think they got rained out as well. Same situation with all the rain that they had. It was going to be a, you know, we're lucky. We had height, we had a roof over our heads, and so that helped a ton.
Yeah,
So
it's such a great place.
It
It's
is,
such
yeah.
a great place.
It's just a
And
good
you get
spot.
tired,
They-
you can go in, and I gotta bring a pillow next year and a blanket. I didn't have a pillow and blanket, so I didn't sleep real good, but.
Yeah, there's a good place, good
The
restrooms, good
couch
place.
is not bad to sleep on. And
And if you bring an army cot, bring an air mattress.
Yeah, exactly.
And they even got a repeater there.
And there's even a repeater there, that's, yeah. So, with a good battery backup. By the way, we have another battery we're gonna have to purchase at some point. We gotta get some measurements first, but we'll get to that one of these days, so. Okay, well, with that, like I said, if there's no other questions on field day, questions, comments, anything else, I'll shut up and we're gonna turn it over to Rick and he's gonna talk to us about dipoles tonight.
Matt, while I'm getting set up, there were two gentlemen that walked in, maybe we could introduce themselves.
Oh, yeah.
I missed our introductions, I apologize.
Bill needs to too.
My name's Vance, and non-armed deputy from Salem.
Yeah, I'm Kevin, and I'm Max from Salem.
Kevin, I remember you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I remember your call sign, Vance,
Yeah.
because you're like me, you've been around for a few years, so.
He was just a little boy.
Yeah, don't want to talk about that, Steve. I still got scars.
Let's not go there tonight.
And Bill, you need to introduce yourself.
Just plain Bill, N4BW at West Baden.
All right, well, thanks for coming, guys. Good to see you guys again.
Oh, yeah. All right, somewhere in a conversation in the last month or so, Ike was interested in ham sticks, so I said I'd bring up to the meeting, and then that kind of developed into a presentation on short dipoles, which is what a ham stick really is. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight, and I'm going to make it as quick as possible because I know everybody wants to get back outside. I can get the rest of my shirt saturated.
So say drag it out.
All right, so this is just our disclaimer, so we don't get sued. So if we start with the standard center-fed dipole, that's kind of the gold reference point for a lot of things. It's in terms of gain, most antennas at some point get compared gain-wise to just a standard center-fed dipole. So it's, let's see. I forgot to do something here. Pointer options. I just discovered this. All right. So it's the standard center-fed dipole is a quarter wavelength on either side, so it's a half wavelength long. Takes up quite a bit of space if it's for a fairly low frequency. So, not advancing. There we go. So a short dipole is an alternative if you don't have quite as much space. So A there is the overall length, which in the case of the standard dipole would be a half a wavelength. But we're going to talk about things that are lower or lesser length. And the way that's accomplished is the addition of a loading coil somewhere in the element. So it's pretty simple in concept. Being short, and I'll say something that's kind of an oversimplification, but because the wires are short without the loading coil, you get the reactance goes capacitive, so you have to add an inductor to offset that. So your two reactances will balance each other out or subtract out and get back to an impedance that's manageable. That's not exactly technically correct, but it's a very convenient way to think about it. Okay, so how do you figure out how big everything is? This is the equation to figure out the length of that short dipole. And we can run through one of these real quick. Can somebody pull out a calculator? I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that. Luckily, we don't have to go through this, although in the good old days we would have. Matt, you're a real trooper.
Well, I was getting ready to panic.
So it's just based on, so what you're trying to determine is the reactance that you need out of your inductor, out of the coil, and that's based on the frequency, and then what they call in this, the total available width, so the length that you can tolerate to have, less than half a wavelength. So if you've got a 30-foot attic and you want to put a dipole up there, your available length would be 30 feet. And then B is the length from the feed point to the loading coil. And obviously subtracting B from A, you get the, and divided by 2, you get the length of the other part of the wire sticking out to the end, and then you got to know the diameter of the wire as well. So luckily for us, This guy, K7 MEM, Martin Reserve, has very graciously, oh wow, I didn't get signed into the net here. We may have to, we're gonna have to just take a little break here.
Do you need the info or you got it?
Okay, there's and I've got the password.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah. Told myself I was gonna get this done while I was sitting back there doing nothing. Is it 08 or 08 at the end? I think it's 08, isn't it?
Let me double check.
I'll try it with the 0 and see if we,
Yes, 08.
okay. Okay.
Is that former OD, is that toilet paper roll?
Well, I'm gonna get to that, but it's about that. It could be, I guess. It wouldn't be very weatherproof. In fact, while we're talking about that, I'll pass one around. This is one I made. We can start that going around. That is an 1.5 inch, and what that is a, you'll see when you get to the end of the calculations, they set it up for a 3.5 inch diameter, and I was thinking a 3.5 inch diameter piece of PVC is going to weigh about 100 pounds, and it's going to be right up there in the middle of that wire, pulling it down. So I dug around, and I had the little PVC tube that comes out of the bottom of a sink is real thin walled stuff. So I used that, and it was 1.5 inches. That's what's in there. And the wire in there is 26 gauge. This was something I built for hiking with the 10 watt KX2. So, and I think 26 gauge would be enough for 100 watts. That's Teflon insulated wire that I used to use on antennas. Okay, let's go back to the slideshow. For some reason, it's not bringing that up on the screen. Let's see if
It can be slow, so I don't know if it.
I think I'll just close the PowerPoint. There we go. All right, so K7 MEM put together this nice online calculator. You can see that's where I got the diagram from. And what he does is tells you all about what he's doing. But you get down here, and so we would design this. Let's design a 40 meter short dipole. So let's set it up for the middle of the band, more or less, 7.225, let's say. And then let's say we've got 30 feet available instead of the 65 that we would need for a normal size dipole. And we're going to use 14 gauge wire. And we can change any of this stuff, but that's just a good starting point. So we go down to this chart then, which is already figured out. And it gives you 10 different options you can choose from. It always turns out with number 5 highlighted, and the kind of the middle of the road. There's a note at the bottom of this that says for optimum efficiency, self-resonance should be near 14.5. He doesn't explain why it's 14.5 but that's double, that's twice the frequency that we were designing for. Maybe there's something there. So that would be option 8 here. So if we click on 8, we can see that the inside wire on the dipole, the B length is 12 feet and C is going to be 3 feet. So that's 15 feet per side, 2 sides, 30 feet. The coil needs to have an inductance of 50 microhenries. And in this case, he's starting with a 5-inch former. And the self-resonance on that is going to be near the band. So a couple of notes. If you go to the last one, the 9th option, every time is the Q in the last column. Q is a measure of the efficiency of the antenna. Usually we think of it in terms of the bandwidth. So you want a big Q so you cover the whole band. But in terms of efficiency, which is how much of the power that goes to the antenna actually gets radiated, you want to have a real narrow, a low Q and a real narrow bandwidth. And so that's actually 0 for the bandwidth. So it would be putting all that energy into one spike, according to the calculations. I don't think that's real, but it's probably close. So that would be the most efficient, but it would be the most difficult to use. You'd have to change coils or do some kind of an adjustment every time you want to change frequencies. So I would say most of the time, probably going to go with number 5. So how do we figure out where we get that coil, how to do the coil so it's 21.2 microhenries? And nicely enough, he's already figured that out. So with a diameter of, let me just go back up here for a minute. So we've got, in this, I kind of changed here from the one we were looking at before, but so now number 5 is the coil is dead smack in the middle of the element. There's 7.5 feet of wire inside, 7.5 feet of wire outside. And there's a lot to be said for that, I think, in terms of just considering efficiency and bandwidth and just overall performance. Typically that's, on the commercial ones, that's where you see it. So that's what's illustrated here. And he gives us all the measurements, the 30-foot length, overall length, and the 21.2 microhenries. And then he tells you how to do that. You start with a 3 3/4 inch former. It's the coil windings will be 1 7/8 inch long on that. You'll have 14.5 roughly turns of number 14 wire. And if you wind one of those up, it should be pretty close to 21. And if you put it in between 2 pieces of wire, they're 7.5 feet long, and do that twice, one for either side, you should have something that resonates kind of in the middle of 40 meters. So that's really what a ham stick is. I'm going to take one more deviation here before we get to the ham sticks. I used all this to make this bag. I was going to set the pulleys out, but I've got 2 of those coils like what's going around. And then this is one element of an antenna. It's a dipole. Rather than burn up a lot of time with show and tell, I'll just do the tell part. So what I wanted to do was, I didn't like, I mean, what can you do with 7.5 feet of wire by itself? Well, you can't really do anything because it's resonant somewhere between 15 and 10 meters probably. So I cut wires. I made a dipole for 15 meters and got it resonant, got that length. And I made that my inside length. And then I added a piece of wire onto the end of that to make it resonant on 20 meters. And then I made a coil to unplug those 2. I use these Wago connectors that I'm big on, if you remember from the POTA Performer talk. So the wires come apart really easily. It's just a little clamp connector. So you can take those 2 wires apart and put the coil in there. That's what the one is that's being passed around. And you've got a 40 meter antenna. So K7 MEM must have had a lot of extra time. But what if you go clear back up here to the top, and in this, instead of 30 feet, I'll put in the length of the 20 meter antenna there. And that turned out to be 16.5 feet, I believe. Let's just use that. It'll be close enough. And that was a 1/4 wave for 20 meters and a 0.95 velocity factor correction. So you put that up there. Now I'm using that 26 gauge wire, which I've measured. So it uses the wire diameter and the turns to figure out how long it is on the coil, which is important for getting the inductance calculated. So we can use input in inches, and that stuff is 0.035 in diameter. And then we come down to the custom calculator, and the length for dimension B, which is the inside part, so that would be the 15-meter element when it's by itself. I believe that was about 6 feet, so I'll just use that. I've got these written down somewhere, but it's on the other slides. And we come up with needing an inductance of about 40 microhenries, 39.884. So he's done all the calculations for us. And really, it's just arithmetic. I mean, it's not a miracle or anything. It's just really handy. So, and there's the equation again. So the other thing that I didn't like was using those big coil formers. I don't think he gives you the dimensions for this coil. Maybe it turns out, yeah, it does. It's up here. So he's saying use a 3 1/4 inch, and the length of the windings on the coil would be 1 5/8 inches. This information right here. And really a coil you want, to get the best performance from a coil, you want the length to be more or less the same as the diameter. So this is kind of off. It's too short and too big a diameter. So we go to the other link on that page. Go to slideshow to open that up. There we go. Okay, so this is a separate website, 66specific.com. We're going to have a single layer coil.
We can't see it.
Oh, same problem again. Imagine that. Okay, single layer coil. We need to know the diameter, which we measure. We're going to do everything in inches. So the diameter of my sink drain is 1.5 inches. And I need to know the length. And I just kind of have to guess here. So let's guess at 40 turns. And then I'll do a quick calculation here and take 0.035, which is the diameter of the 26 gauge wire, and multiply that by 40 turns, and that will give me the length on the former, so 1.4 inches, which is almost, so the diameter and the length is almost exactly the same, and so it should be a fairly efficient coil. We calculate that, and it tells us that result is 43.4. So we can play with the number of turns and do this iteratively until we get the right inductance, but it's coming out, pretty close. And you see what the process is. So that was I thought it was kind of an interesting exercise to build a dipole, a trapped dipole, if you will, that works on 15 and 20 and 40, and the whole thing's only 30-some feet long, 35 feet long, I guess. So that's that part of it. Now, what I wanted to talk about is hamsticks. So there's a bunch of brands. Lakeview was the original, I believe, and they're not in business anymore. The ones I've got are Transcells. These are the ones that the guys that go to Linville and the Louisville Ham Fest, there's a outfit there that has a big long table, usually over against the wall, and they sell these. I think that these are all people that sell them online. I think they're all made by Procom. MFJ used to make their own, and they're out of business. One thing to be leery of, this is what I would call a full-size ham stick. They make some that are about almost a foot shorter, and we're already pretty short here. This is a 20-meter ham stick, so we're cutting down from 33 feet to 7 or 8. So I put So I just go with the full-size ones. I put these quick disconnects on, they do not come with those. They're 3/8 by 24 stud, just like a CB antenna. But if you're changing bands every once in a while, these are handy. So you set these up, and then this will pull all the way out. At one point, yeah, so that one's all the way out. There's my mark. Right there. So that's fully extended.
Did you add
The other
those
side
thumb
does the
screws?
same thing. Say again?
Did you add those thumb screws?
I did, yeah. So I was gonna mention that every ham stick I've ever seen for sale comes with set screws in there, and they give you one Allen wrench per set.
That round in corners and you lose every single time.
The first time I set them up was down at Salina Lake, and that damn thing's still out there in the grass somewhere. But luckily Calvin had a standard size screwdriver that went in there, it's small enough to work it. But so I came home, the first thing I did was buy a package of about 20 Allen wrenches, and I thought, that's really dumb. I'm just gonna get the set screws, or the thumb screws, and put it in there.
Here's your hardware sells those, that's where I got mine.
Yeah, these are M5, I think.
Yeah.
Everything's metric. I'm sure the stuff's all made in China. So the other side pulls out the same way. You gotta have them the same length, or you've got really an off-center fed dipole, which would be something I'm interested in playing with. In fact, I was kind of interested in pursuing it. I think that if you used a 40-meter ham stick on one side and a 17-meter ham stick on the other side, you would get an off-center fed dipole that would work pretty well on 20 and up. But they don't sell a 17-meter ham stick, so that killed that idea, thankfully. The mast is DX Engineering. It's a 25-foot mast. It's got these cam locks on it to hold it up. I have another mount that goes on top that I can put a UHF, VHF antenna on. These hose clamps hold a pulley, so I can pull up a wire antenna if I want to. I've got a linked dipole that works pretty well. You can pull these all the way out too.
Does that go up to about 30 feet?
25. So you're supposed to have 7 inches overlapping the next two. I can't get it up high enough to show you, but I pulled it out and made a black mark around at 7 inches. So I have pulled these out a few times when I was setting it up. After you get 2/3 of it up, and then it's wakes you right up. And so I put a red mark around 3 inches above the black mark, kind of as an insurance program. I like the mast real well. It's got these little thumb screws. You might want to check this out, but they're infinitely adjustable for tension on that cam lock, and you kind of get a feel for when you're pulling it up. I just keep one hand on that thumb screw and get it adjusted right. So it's a short dipole. I'll leave this up. There's the coil section on this one is right here, so it's that long, and it totally violates that 1-to-1 ratio of diameter. I don't know how they get by with that, but it is what it is. So the wire's wrapped, it's kind of a coil out here, but it's a tight coil in here. The one thing that I had to do on one of them, I've got these for 40, 20, 15, and 10, and I think it was the 10-meter ones, to adjust. So you adjust SWR by running the stinger in and out. And that takes a while the first time you're doing it to get it tuned up. And you can't have that stinger, the end of the stinger, go back into far enough that it's inside the coil. You lose all adjustment. It's real, as you start and you shove it back in there, you can see the resonant point going down in frequency on the antenna analyzer. But once it gets in there, it just goes haywire. So I had to just grind a little. I took about 3 inches off of each of the stingers, and I think that was the 10-meter one. I'm going to push this back in because it's kind of taking up a lot of space. So how well do they work? Okay, the mount. So that's the dipole mount. Those sell for about $25. These are about 30 a piece. There's also, you can use them as a vertical with radials. So you can use just a mirror mount. This is a thing I just picked up and I haven't actually used it yet, but it's really cool. And I'm thinking it would work on the tailgate of the truck. When the tailgate's up, and the tailgate's kind of curved, if you get that spot that's where it's horizontal, it's a big suction cup, and you just, it's got a, you probably can't see it, but there's a red line around that plunger. When you plunge it enough that the red line disappears, it's stuck. I had it stuck on the refrigerator for 3 or 4 days at home, and it stayed there. And it's not too bad to get off. It's got these little things to break the suction with, so it comes right off. So I'm anxious to try that just for a real quick setup. But any kind of a, if you want to use a single ham stick, not as a dipole, any kind of a mirror mount, put it on a tripod on the ground like a POTA Performer, whatever you come up with. And then of course there's the quick disconnects. Those are, I think those are also all made by Procom. The popular brand is Shark, and Shark also makes ham sticks, but I think they're just putting their name on them. Okay, so this is one SWR curve from 10 meters, and the bottom of it here is at about 1.4, I guess. And so I would be lucky if I could ever duplicate that again, because you can move that trough anywhere you want it. If you want to work on the high end of the band and you want to have your low SWR there, you would just shorten it up a little bit. Unscrew the thumb screw, slide the stingers in, and move it around. So, but the point, I guess, is that with the 10 meter, and this was on my 25-foot mast run up all the way, it's really it's below 2 to 1 across the whole band, which is pretty good for 10 meter dipole. You would certainly expect that out of a wire dipole, but a short dipole gets a little narrow banded. 15 meter SWR, it really rocks on 15 meter. It's like 1.1, not even that, 1.05 maybe there at the resonant point. 20 meters, about 1.2 at the trough there, and we can move that anywhere we want. What I've done, after a few times in the field, pulling these things out with the thumb screw still loose, this is going back and forth, and then Rick gets out his tape measure and pulls it out, and I've got a chart of what I want. You know, I want 42 inches or something. I pull it out, and about the time everything, the tape measure goes back in. So I just took a piece of PEX and made it so it would kind of nest over the end of that, and then I've got my tuning information in Sharpie on the outside. So I just pull it out to where it's, so there's my 15 meter setting, for example. So it's real quick. So that gives me an initial setting. Then I check the SWR, and if I want to change it, I can. But that gets you going, gets you in the game. Okay. 40 meters. So these things are not broadbanded enough for 40 meters. So what you see here are 4 different SWR curves generated by 4 different settings of the stingers on the ham sticks. And you don't get a lot of bandwidth out of it. I don't use these on 40 meters. If I'm going to work 40 meters, I'm going to put up a wire. But regardless, I took that information and plotted up the resonant frequency versus the length of the stinger sticking out here. So if I know I want to work on, I want to have a FT8 conversation on 7.1, I can just come into this chart and I know I need to be at 41 inches to get the SWR trough there.
One thing you can try, I've never done it with this type of antenna, but you can take an aluminum pie pan and poke a stinger
Make
through
it
it, and that gives it a capacitance at each end, and it gives you more broad-bandedness. But the big thing is, it pulls heavier current down that coil, and that gives you more radiation. And it really, really plays well.
I'll give that a try. I wonder if that would work with something like aluminum foil to keep the weight down a little bit.
Well, aluminum pie pan, you know, that's
Yeah.
aluminum, you know.
Yeah, it's worth a try, or just sometimes they weld those up out of wire too, solder up a copper, you know, make a pie pan,
Right.
a mesh pie pan out of
Yeah.
copper wire and put it on. Good idea. So, how well does it really work? I went to Jackson Recreation Area on field day. On Saturday, I set up the POTA performer, and this was my QSO map. And
That was an average of 26 contacts an hour?
No.
No. From field.
Saturday was an average of Rick taking his laptop and banging it down on top of the park bench about 26 times an hour because it would not stay connected. And I was trying to send a WinLink message. So that's about 7 hours worth of work there. And
Wow.
it all happened in the last couple hours. But you get a sense that I'm not going much past the Mississippi River going west. And certainly then bounded by the ocean on the east and south. I went back Sunday, I gave up and logged on an iPad and just quit the whole nonsense of using the laptop, and I set up the ham sticks. So this was what I got in half of my time on Sunday, which this was really only probably an hour and a half. I've always been real pleased with the ham sticks. Josh and I set them up down at Salina Lake one time. That was like December 23rd, I think.
It was cold.
Cold snowy day, with my KX2. It was KX2, wasn't it?
No.
Maybe not, maybe it was the 891, but we couldn't not make a contact. I mean, it was everywhere. So I worked on that for a while, then I put up the 15-meter ham sticks and got Hawaii and Italy and pretty much the whole continental United States. So they really work for what it is. It's amazing to me that something that small can do that good of a job. And of course, as the frequency goes up, then the 25-foot mast is more of a wavelength up. I'm not quite sure how to say that, but so 20 meters would be, halfway would be 10 meters, so 33 feet. So at 25 feet, it's almost that magic half wavelength up for the takeoff angle. And with 15 meters, it really, I think it is right at a half wavelength. And that's why you get this kind of propagation. So that's it. Trip back to 1975.
And who's that?
Who's there?
No way.
Any questions?
I know I've seen that guy in a rock band somewhere.
How do you check the?
Led Zeppelin, I think.
How do you check the coil? Like the coil in ground, you check that for micro, whatever.
Well, I've tried to do that. You'd have to ask Pete the answer to that question. You got to have a VNA, and you got to have the right hookup on the VNA, and it's tricky.
Yeah, it's 2-1.
The leads all have to be shored, and there's a bunch of stuff. So what I did was, I knew when I was making the one that I didn't unpack, the wire antenna that was resonant on 15 and 20 by itself, or 40 with the coil, I just kept messing around with the coil. I didn't put the shrink wrap on to begin with. I just put blue tape around it after I got it wound and tried it. And when it was resonant where I wanted it to, and they were pretty close. I'd say it was within, I made 3 of these, and I'd say that the one that was off the most was only a turn and a half, maybe. So that's how I just checked it indirectly, by finding out where it was resonant, adjusting it until it was resonant where I wanted it to be, in the
And
middle
if
of
you
the
look
band.
around at Handfest and you find a grid dip meter, snag onto it, because that will do a coil measurement so fast
Yeah.
and so easy.
You say a bird?
A grid dip meter. It has little coils that pop in the top of it. There's a little box with the coils, and they cover a frequency range, and you set the frequency you want and hold it near that coil, and it'll resonate the coil, and you can adjust the coil to whatever you want.
Another way to check those is put a series capacitor.
Right.
That you know the value of,
Mm-hmm.
and a 50 ohm resistor.
Yep.
Right.
And then
back check
that'll
that.
give you a series resistance that is 50 ohms. And you can use a cheap SWR meter.
Mhm.
And it will give you a very good, very accurate result on that.
I've screwed around with coils with my Nano VNA trying to do it, and I've gotten to where I could convince myself it was working right, but but it never did.
Is there any difference between stranded and solid wire in your coils? Or is that stranded?
This is stranded, yeah. I don't
These are
think,
solid, right? Hand sticks.
well, it's a fiberglass with something around it, I don't
That's a
know.
solid wire.
Probably
It's
is.
not
This,
stranded.
this part is, I'm not sure about what's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all solid.
Is it also?
Yeah. The reason they put that coil in the, like, back from the end, I made a 160 meter ham stick. I'm not kidding. And what the problem was, I had the coil, this thick coil right here, I had that right out here. And then there was a short wire going to the stinger. Well, you would think electrically, from the top of that coil through the little short wire to the stinger, that's a dead short. But on RF, it's not. Because when that coil resonates, it induces a current. And what happened was, from the top of the coil to the stinger, this huge arc formed. I mean, it caught the pole on fire. And I was outside at night, and I'm transmitting on the radio, and every time I talked, the ground would light up. And I was like, well, maybe I'm, hitting a street light, or, and I looked out the window, and I went, hello, and it went, and I went, oh, no. So when I moved the coil back down here, the resonant magnetic field around it was far enough away from that just the energy going down the wire went the way it was supposed to. So that's why they do that now.
You put a Corona ball on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trucker does a maintainer that lights up, it's all gone.
All right, well, Brent, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank I like that design, very quick and easy to,
Yeah. it's
very
to-
nice, well thought out.
Oh, that's yours.
They are.
I like that better.
Huh?
I like yours better.
Yeah, it's definitely compact, that's the. All right, let's see if we can get this back together before the TV shuts off. Maybe. All right, well, thanks, Rick, appreciate that, that's a good one. And we are going to skip our usual ham app of the month. We're just going to go past that one. We're going to jet right into Jason's portion of the meeting, which is not, there's a whole lot to report, so I'll let you do your end on that.
It's even less than normal because there was no change from the last month, with the exception of, we should vote on Dave's membership.
Oh yeah,
So-
make it official. So, yeah, we got a
Mr.
membership.
CW back there would
We got
like
a
to
membership
join.
application from Dave. I think he's pretty much,
Which one?
huh?
Which day?
Mr. CW.
Mr. C.
Yeah, that one over there.
That's true. Oh, we got him last month.
Yeah, he's last, or 2 months ago.
We railroaded him last month, so it's Dave Howell's turn now. So, yeah, we just need to vote on, approving his, application. So, show of hands, all in favor? Anybody against it? You're stuck. Welcome to the
aboard.
group, Dave.
So with not counting Dave's contribution for tonight, the bank account's $2,978.83, $60 in the cash on hand, puts us at a grand total $3,038.83 the club has as of tonight.
So, not count, I didn't put any of the other stuff that Jason usually puts in because everything pretty well stayed the same. So the only thing I did too, I just threw that up. Not counting Dave now, we're at 35 members, so Dave brings us up to 36. So, see, just slowly keep finding people that are out there, so.
Were you a RRL member? All right, so that puts so with Steve moving and counting Dave now, that puts you at 18
Okay,
for yes on ARL, none, 17 no. So you're one above the
okay.
50% mark.
I think I mentioned this last month, we keep track of that just because if we apply for any grant money or anything from the ARRL, that's one of the questions they ask. They like to know, how many ARRL members are part of the club and what those numbers are, so it kind of gives them an idea. So that's the reason we try, that's really the only reason we track that. But it's just good to keep it up to date. So Jason's kind of been hammering on everybody and trying to figure out the status on that. So just in case anybody was curious on what that was. I don't think we've got anything. Do we have anything old business-wise we need to cover? Yes, sir?
It might be new business.
What's that?
Mine may be new business.
Oh, okay.
Actually, kind of back to field day.
Yes.
Can we write a letter to the Paoli Municipal Airport as a thank you for allowing us to do that?
Yep.
And kind of on a segue to that, I was thinking that maybe this fall we could do some kind of a thing, as a club, maybe some kind of an event.
We were talking,
Before
I think.
it gets too cold and
I know.
after it's done being hot.
Yeah, I know Rick and I had talked about it at one point, getting together, once things the humidity kind of calms down a little bit, getting together at either POTA or Spring Mill or one of the parks and doing a POTA activation as a group, and then, grilling hot dogs and hamburgers and, just getting together.
Jason.
Only if it's raining. Only if it's raining.
Only if there's a chance of electrocution will Jason touch it, so.
So my thought was if we set up a station, go to, Newton Stewart, get one in the shelter houses, set up a station and do a POTA activation, then also have another computer set up so that anybody, several people have approached me about, they want to see it done. So we could have another computer set up so we could start POTA accounts, park some of your accounts, so people don't have them, and they'll get credit the same day. And be a one-stop shop sort of thing, plus Jason's food.
Yeah. So we'll talk, we'll definitely talk about that, because I know he and I had talked about it, and he brought it up as well, so that's right, you're right in line with what we were thinking too. Yes?
Another topic is the QIQ guys are doing this thing this weekend.
Yes.
I actually got a kitchen pass for Saturday, so from an XYL. So, my mother's I'm off the leash. Is anybody from KB9OHY going to go to Spring Mill on behalf of the club?
I've got to work, so I won't be there, but.
I would be, but we'd be out of town.
I'll probably go.
Okay.
Well, it's like Gus Grissom Day or whatever they call that.
Yeah.
And the W9QIQ Future Tills, they're going to be operating at Spring Mill, but they've invited other clubs to go and be a part of their POTA event under our call sign. Like if we wanted to go do a KB9OHY, activation, I don't know on their, I don't know, does anybody know if they supply the equipment or we have to bring our equipment?
I would probably, I don't know, I know they're gonna have a tower there, they've got an automatic tower that they're gonna take out there, so I don't know if they're just gonna have, I'm sure they're gonna have their station obviously set up, and I don't know, I haven't asked him any specifics.
Well, I got a
beyond that.
message from Bloomington that actually Bedford, North Lawrence, Rocket Group, Joe Library, W9MGY, they're gonna be set up there, setting up rockets, and they're also gonna be operating, so, if KB9OHY, Orange County, wanted to be a part of that, I could go help.
Oh, yeah.
On behalf of the club and whatever.
Yeah,
Bring
and
the stuff.
what's that?
Bring the stub.
Bring the stub, yeah. That's good advice.
But I mean, was anybody planning on going there Saturday?
Pete Ridge
I might be, yeah, depends on how
So
Karen's.
what it is, it's Gus Grissom Day that they're having there. I think it's right at the memorial, right as you come into the park.
I've got the.
There's a parking lot just right there adjacent to it. It's
Yeah.
probably right there. I didn't ask.
No, it's gonna be down in the Sheller House down by the,
By the lake?
It's
by
Sycamore.
the.
By the village.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
it's
gonna be down there.
Okay, yeah,
It's kinda in conjunction with Spring Mill too, they're wanting to.
I see. Okay, yeah, it sounded
They're
like
gonna
it
have
was.
fox hunts and.
Okay,
on
oh, you're doing fox
fox
hunt too?
hunts.
Okay, good. Well, Tim and the president of their club had kind of reached out to me. We've been talking back and forth on some stuff, and so he had sent me an email about it. We mentioned it 2 or 3 nights ago, and then I forgot to do it last week, and then this week, I think Rick had mentioned it on Tuesday. So, but basically, they're gonna be out there, I think it's 9 to 2, 8 to
I
2.
just sent you, I just put it to the KB9OHY
I had,
text group.
okay, I was gonna say, I felt something go off there, so I'm just trying not to,
And here's the other page. So,
let's see, okay, 9 to 3 is the hours for that, or 9 to 2 for Parks on the Air at Sycamore Shelter, so,
but, I mean, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll throw my POTA gear in the truck and, I'll go there. I've never done a POTA as KB19OHY,
it's,
so I don't know how all that works, or the club activation.
So, when we did the DNR headquarters for Winterfield Day 2 years ago, I set up a POTA account for the club, and I will send you the login information for that.
Okay.
But what you do is you use the club call sign, and as you fill out the log, you've got a field in the log for the operator, you put yours in there,
Yeah.
and then you get double credit for it. So the club gets credit, and then when you look up
It's
your
like
own.
station operator.
Yeah, so you'll get, if you look at my activations in that tab, you'll see yourself in there.
Okay.
So,
yeah, just like Field Day, so you can use the, it's the same pretty much process, so you'll have the call sign you're using and your call sign, just like we had up here, where, so.
I'll throw my gear in the truck, and if anybody wants to operate as KB9OHY at that event, then we can team up when we get there, and,
Yeah,
play by ear.
and-
If not, I may operate W9GUS for them,
Sure,
I don't care.
yeah, and on that, if anybody ever wants to use the club call for anything, feel free. As long as you don't get me in trouble with the FCC. Feel free to do that, so.
When in doubt, why not?
That's right, well, they've got my number, or they've got my address, so I'm sure they'll call if there's a problem.
That's all I had, sir.
Okay, well, all right, yeah, I appreciate you, appreciate you bringing that up, because that was something I did want to mention tonight, because they're trying to get a turnout out there, and Tim's working up there to try to, he's doing some stuff, he's got some ideas, so I'm hoping that they have some success with that, and I think they will. They've been doing some POTA activations, I've been seeing them pop up on Hamler occasionally, so they've been getting out and doing some stuff, so hopefully we can do the same thing once we get everybody together and
Well, maybe this fall we can try to do that.
yep, I'm thinking that's a great idea, so. All right, so anything, yes, sir?
Well, this is really old, but
Okay.
anybody would like to see the article about Field Day that appeared in the Springs Valley Herald and the Orleans Progress Examiner, I got copies here for you to look at.
Thank you. All right, appreciate you doing that for us, Bill. Yeah. Bill's been good about getting us out in the newspapers, so everybody knows we're alive down here. So I do appreciate that. Trying to think if there's anything else. I don't. Yes, sir.
Sign-in sheet.
Sign-
I know we
yeah.
had some stragglers that came in
Yeah.
late, so
Yeah, be sure-
make sure
yeah.
you sign in before you leave. so
Sign
we-
in, and if you're not getting emails about the meetings, and you want to get them, let me. There's a sheet over there for that too. Be sure you get on there, because I need to kind of go back through and make sure I've got everybody in there okay. But if you don't see an email from us, especially on the meetings, let me know. That way I can make sure I haven't typed something in wrong, or if there's not another issue out there, so. Because when that email goes out, it's going out to about 20 to 30 people, so it's easy for me to miss something occasionally, so. But if you get it on Jason's list there, he'll get it over to me and get it updated on the list, so. All right, anything else before we go outside? Yes, sir?
You can watch these on YouTube, is that correct?
That is,
Correct.
yep, that's what it is, yep.
You can watch.
Yeah, we've got a Facebook page. We've got a Facebook page, we were putting them on there, but Jason got banned, so, that.
It will not let me live stream anymore,
So.
for whatever
so
reason.
We just decided, he had that whole big rig with the phone doing Facebook Live, and then the YouTube, or the camera, filming for YouTube. We just
Because
decided.
one wanted vertical, one wanted horizontal.
Yeah, it wanted different formats, and it was just a pain in the backside for Jason, so I just told him, we'll stick with one, we'll just put it on YouTube.
And YouTube only stayed for 30 days, and then it automatically got, or Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook deleted it after 30 days.
Yep.
So YouTube stays, it's
Yeah,
there
for
forever.
good. So, yeah, anything that we've done, shoot, we've put everything on there for the last 2 years now, I think.
And all the old archive that,
Yeah, all the old stuff.
I
Yeah,
found.
the old account, the old account that was on there back when Larry was still alive and doing videos, we lost access to that account. So I was able to pull that stuff off and got it to Jason, and Jason got them uploaded into the new account. So
but yeah, all the meetings are there.
there's a lot of, yeah.
Bill's
We
birthday.
got Bill 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's probably closer to 20 or 30 years ago. So,
Matt,
yes, sir.
Vance had a question.
Oh, yes, sir.
That's not a question, is it, well, I guess it could be. Kendall and I come down here because we're needing help.
Okay.
And, 3 or 4 years ago, we lost our repeater side in Salem.
Okay.
And they just threw the equipment out on the ground and left it. And, anyway.
I've heard that story before.
Been there, done that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And our technician guy, he's got to where he can't work on anything. And, we ended up moving the repeater to my house just to get it on the air again.
Yeah.
And, I guess lightning hit it, or I'm not sure, but it blew the battery up and the controller burned. And so we think we're getting some help from the county to get a new place to put it.
Okay. Good.
And we're thinking about, we're hoping to get new equipment.
Okay.
And what I would like to do is get something that's similar or the same as a neighbor.
Sure.
You know, so I don't have to start from scratch and learn everything.
Yep.
And and I've asked some other clubs and I've not got any good response about it. I mean, it's like, we don't know who takes care of it or whatever. you know.
Yeah.
But, I'd like to know what kind of equipment you got on your 2-meter repeater.
Okay.
So, you know, that's where
That's an easy one to answer. The repeater we're using is a Yaesu, one of the Yaesu DR2X repeaters. They've just discontinued those, and they've just now went to a DR3X, which I like the new one. The new one's got more power, so ours is at 50. It's 50 watts. The new one goes up to 80 or 85, I think is what it goes up to. But the 2X is a dual band, so you could do 440 or 2-meter on it. So we've got that at both. We've got our 440 up at the airport here north of town, and then the 2 meters south of Paoli up on the water tower.
South of Music Space Shop.
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah, we got, our emergency management director is a ham too, and he was able to, he had some contacts with Total Water, and they were moving a county repeater, the county highway repeater, to a new tower that they were building from an old one that was right next to it. So when they did that, they had room in the cabinet, they had a whole cabinet with just that one repeater in it, so they allowed us to put our repeater into the cabinet, and then we paid for the installation of the cabinet, and the, I say we paid for it, was grant money that we got, and some donations here from some of the guys in the group, and got that put up that way. And so we're in with the county and their cabinet on that new tower.
So you run a controller with that repeater, right?
Nope, it has one built in.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
So
I
what's the
don't,
learning curve on that?
and I'll tell you, I don't like the controller in it because it doesn't really have a whole lot to it. There's no courtesy tone with it. It is digital. It does do digital and analog both. The one up here north of town, here in a minute, we can go outside and play around with it and show you. But that one will do digital depending on which way you go into it. If you go into it digital, it'll come out digital. If you go in analog, it'll come out analog. So it'll do both ways, which is nice because that gives you kind of the best of both worlds.
And you can remote control by the identification of your own radio.
Yeah.
So other people, even if they knew how to get into it, the radio isn't accepted by it.
Yeah, as far as controlling it, yeah.
So who's the guru that actually?
I programmed it, so, so yeah, I can help you get through that part of it. It's really not that bad. It's really, I mean, it's got the DR2X, and I'm sure, I saw the 3X at Dayton. I went up there, the new model, and it looks like it's the same thing. It's got a touch screen on the front, so you just type in the frequency you want, and
So you need, is a laptop up to it or anything?
nope. Wow. It's all right there.
Is anybody in there familiar with Arcom 210?
Pete? Pete's the guy.
Yeah, I do duplexers and all that stuff.
I can handle that stuff, but I ended up buying a new 210, and it's a later version, and our old data file doesn't, you can't load it in it, you know. So, and I don't know anything about programming it. I can load the data file and all that. If I had a good one to put in there to start with, I could probably tweak it to get it to work, but I'm thinking now we just dump the whole, you know, start off scratch with a whole new system.
Does Washington County have a club yet? They did.
You're looking at it.
Right here.
At one time, they had a pretty decent club over there.
We did.
You got
We got old. We got old.
three other.
Dawn
How
passed
we got
away.
started again.
Huh?
Tell him how we got started again.
Well, the long version or the short version?
A short version.
Huh?
A short.
The short version, yeah. Well, we had a tornado roll through Paoli. That was kind of the starting part of it, and that was the catalyst that kind of got us started. But then, you know, we just kind of just started from scratch and just kind of beat
You know, there's a lot of hands in
Well,
our county. There is.
I looked up on QRZ.com, and I looked up Orange County. You can pull down the whole list of everybody that's listed. Now, there's a lot of call signs that have expired, especially in I got away from it. Oh gosh, it probably would have been around 2002, 2003 for up until 2023. Patrick was nice enough to pull me back in, and I've been doing it ever since. So, there was a span of time there where I wasn't doing anything, and we came back in, and a lot of the guys were still around, and still wanted to do it. So my guess is if you start putting the word out and trying to find the people, they'll more than likely pop up. Yes.
He just got a hold of a few of us hams, and we were all interested in going again for
Yeah.
another club, so we started having meetings even without the repeater or whatever.
Yeah.
I think we can revive
And
it,
we built from that.
Yeah.
and we need to start with that repeater, because everybody was centered around that.
Yeah. See, there's a lot of activity to the south, Crawford County, Harrison County, there's a lot of guys down there, and they come up to the meetings up here about every other month. We're not here, a couple of those guys aren't here tonight because they go to Clark County. Clark County's got their meeting the same night we do, so one month they'll go there and the other month they'll come here. Yes, sir?
Aren't there three other besides Vance and Kevin?
What's that? What was that question?
Aren't there three other fans here from Washington, or from
Washington County?
Yep, Dave,
Mike.
Mike,
He's from Washington County?
Dave.
Me?
Jay, you're the
Yep.
Dave.
Yep, the two
You
Daves.
got two members, right? Two people right there.
Three. Yeah.
Where's Dwight?
That's
what I thought.
Yeah.
I go by Ike.
Mike, okay.
Yes, sir.
I missed out early on the early meetings, because I've only been here about a year and a half. Can you give them a little idea how hard it is to get an ARRL grant?
Well.
Luck of the draw.
Huh?
Just the luck of the draw.
It
We
is.
stepped
It
into that
is.
one.
It's not, we'll start off with the first one. The ARRL grant was the big one. Right next door here is the Community Foundation for Orange County, and we, through EMA helped us on that first repeater. He was able to get us a grant through them for $5,000 to help with the project, and then I think it was another $2,000 or $3,000
From
came
Duke. Duke.
from Duke Energy.
EMA can help you a lot.
Yeah.
We're starting to work with
As I say, there's a benefit for, I don't remember who's over there now, because I know Rick and I had talked about.
Where is Rick? He's not here.
He's not here, no. But we had talked about, you guys not having anything up high anymore, because you used to be on the tower, the water tower there on 60 heading out of town, right? Okay, I thought it's been a few years.
But we used it, didn't we, Vance?
Yeah, but it attracted lightning.
Yeah.
I was standing underneath though when it got hit one night, and the fiberglass was falling on me. I said, this is it, I'm done with this place.
Yep.
That felt good.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it was a good one.
It's, the new tower that they built, it's got a concrete pedestal or center section everything's inside, so the cabinet and everything's inside of that. And the grounding system for that tower, we're actually tapped into that grounding system. So if you can get, if you can find the grounds for the tower, get tied into that, it helps, because we've had some pretty good storms roll through and haven't really had we've not had any issues at all, knock on wood. So, but the nice thing is that repeater out there, we can pull it if we need to and take it out to the other side if we need to swap them out if we have to.
But as far as ARRL, you just stepped into that one.
Yeah, the ARRL Foundation has a grant that they give out for clubs, and just depending on the time, honestly, it was blind dumb luck. I'll just be honest with you, I didn't even think we had a chance in the world to get it, but they ended up giving us $11,600.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's almost $12,000.
That was more than new.
Oh, yeah, well.
We used every penny.
Yeah, we used on everything but about $1,000 of it, so. Yeah, but the reason we went with the Yaesu is a lot of the other clubs or the other repeaters around here are using the Yaesu repeaters, because Yaesu's got a purchase program for clubs where they're knocking about $1,000 off. So the first one, we bought the 2 meter, it was about $900 for the repeater, and it was $900. It's $800 or $900, but it was retailing for about $17 at the time. Prices went up. The second one, Rick, what was the second one?
13.
1,300? Yeah, I think it was, they're about 1,300 because the prices between the time we bought the first one and the second one, but it was still better than what the retail price was through anywhere, but they've got, you just have to fill out an application, and there's a few stipulations, you gotta keep it on the air for a year, you can't, there's nothing major, but a lot of the repeaters around are using that just because of that discount, so.
Vance, do you still have the free?
80-foot bronze tower.
And see, we almost lost our
Self-supported,
business staff. We almost lost our, because Larry Jones died,
We can go out there with
somebody went up there,
440.
some of his people went up there and shut that repeater off, and it was
You
off
remember
the air
the
for how
440 that
long?
was up out there?
It had to be a while.
The sheriff
It was a
said,
while.
and
So,
Commissioner said.
it's the same
well,
situation,
put one up
equipment
there.
disappeared, we did, So we just had to rebuild everything from scratch.
That's right.
All the duplexes and all that stuff that was there. They couldn't find anybody because everybody had either passed away or they just couldn't find them, so. But it worked, I mean, it worked out in the long run. But yeah, any help you need as far as programming it or getting it all, I mean, if you want, you know, once you're ready to do that, just let me know. Because there's several of us in the room between Pete.
If you get that EMA director over in Washington County working with you, there, I can help you a lot.
Yes, she's on it.
Is she?
Yeah, she wants to be a ham operator.
Really?
High voltage meter.
That helps.
That would help a lot.
Well, and, you know, the biggest thing we're doing over here, we're doing a lot of Skywarn stuff for National Weather Service. That way we can call in anything that comes in. That's kind of what we've been focusing on.
But see, if Washington County can get set up and then be a partner with
Oh, yeah.
Orange County, because our weather comes, Washington County's weather comes.
Everything comes in here. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't.
She actually.
It's just for measuring high voltage.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion if I could.
Yes.
Why don't we establish a informal committee of Pete and Ike and whoever else wants to help Vance answer repeater questions himself.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, we can,
just make ourselves available.
yeah, anything we can do, that's,
I'll
we
second that.
well, that's,
Second that.
everybody, or, all in favor of that, just for the official, anybody against it? Okay, all right, well, we'll, yeah, anything we can do, I mean, you know, we'll be more than happy, especially on the programming side of it, it's about as easy as programming the radio, I think that those things
It
are.
sounds like it. I don't know if you've ever messed with the 210, but that thing's got more stuff in it than space shuttle.
There's not a whole lot of stuff in those, but like I said, the
Way electrons is these
if you
days.
have an external controller like an SCOM or something like that, you can hook it up into the back and, go. I haven't tried it, but it's got options in there.
Yeah, but not the application, pay the time every once in a while.
Yeah, right, yep.
Yeah.
The digital part, we haven't switched it on the 2 meter, but on ours, if you talk into ours on digital, it'll come out analog. It'll either take a digital signal or an analog signal, but it'll just spit out analog. That way,
Does it still sound like the original voice?
you can tell a difference. You can hear that there's a difference in it, but it'll do both.
Is that a fusion? Is that what they
Yeah.
call that?
Yeah. Works. So it's pretty nice. I mean, there's just not like the Icon D-Star repeaters and some of the, there's some Motorola ones around. I know there's several people running Motorola. There's several running Kenwood. There's several of them floating around. So, but if you're looking to try to get a new one, Yaesu's got a good thing going because what they're doing, they're giving that discount, hoping you'll buy the repeater at the discount and then pick up the radio at the full price. So it's a good, I know what they're doing, and it's smart. It's worked for them because a lot of repeaters now, at least in the rural part of Indiana, they're using those repeaters. So yeah, Jasper's got one, Lagodi, Shoals. I think that one at Huron up in Bedford, or west of Bedford is one. So, and I know that there's some up in Bloomington. So, there's a lot of them floating around.
And they have deals on them from time to time too, right?
Yeah, that's what I was just telling them, that club purchase program, it's a good deal. Better than trying to go out and just buy them straight off the
I'm interested in a turnkey system of the clean thing. And this, if I'd have to get more specs for all the equipment, but
right.
I'm sure there's somebody that builds them.
The duplexer will probably be the biggest part of the whole thing. That's probably gonna cost you the most out of the whole thing, but if you already have one, that one, as long as it tunes up all right, things,
It's like a 1970 model.
Yeah,
they're the best.
As I say, those are pretty rock solid.
It made some meat.
I wish that old four can one we had was still around, because that thing was a tank. So, but,
As long as we kept certain people out of it.
well, there's that. There's
We had a couple
that.
people like the screwdriver.
Yes, sir.
Messed up their old radio thing.
8:30, I move we adjourn.
Well, from the inside part, yeah, we're gonna go outside and work and do some antenna stuff now. So that was, we're gonna move that way. If anybody else has got anything, we can continue to talk about that outside, so we can,
Yeah, van's gonna run off, man.
I second the motion.
okay, all right, let's do it. Let's go outside and